I'm interviewing today.
Waylon Joe.
Waylon Jones, how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing great, man.
Good, good, man. I've been itching to get an interview with you, Mr. James.
Well, it's definitely a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, your name rang a lot of bells in the city. Not bad, but I have heard of a lot of you. And we here to get the real scoop today.
I'll be glad to share.
All right, so I'm just gonna start out with the basics. Mr. Jason, what do you do for a living that gets you so successful?
Um, I'm a broker, um, financial broker. I do business loans, grants, write grants for different businesses, help people get started businesses. I'm also a very successful real estate agent. Um, selling homes, mansions, you name it, mobile homes, communities. Try to help build up different communities in the area. Um, Basically, I have my hand in all that, and on top of that, I'm actually a financial advisor for investments. I
Oh,
help people take money and invest in different stocks and bonds, and it's a very lucrative business.
so do you guys deal with the crypto business and things?
Say that again.
I said, do you guys deal with the crypto business and stuff like that?
Not exactly crypto yet. I'm looking at some stuff to get into crypto.
Okay.
How I like to do it, I like to find out about it, invest in myself, and see how it works before I actually give it to the people because I don't want to set nobody up for failure.
Right.
How I started out with my investments, honestly, is right here with my buddy Wayman. Um, Wayman actually owns the oil company, and I started investing in his business and flipping it and started doing it globally, man, and it actually started making money.
Okay, well then my next question is to you, Mr. Whalen. What got you into the oil company? Like why the oil company? Why not like electricity or something like that?
Well, company's always going to be absolute. Doesn't matter what happens later on. If there's spills or there's grid or something like that, oil company's always going to be there. I grew up into it. My dad was a oil guy, tanker driver. Um, just following in my family's footsteps.
So you got a lot of experience, in other words, with that. Okay. And in other words, there's a good investment always in oil and gas.
Right. And people are always going to need them. Man. It's one of those resources. It's always going to be needed. They're always going to be a price for it.
Okay. We're gonna take a brief break. What you need? Okay, never mind. All right, sorry about that, fellas. All right, so my question is going to be to both of you fellas. I'm gonna ask Mr. James to answer first, and then Mr. Whalen. What does it take to be a successful businessman?
Um, it takes availability and a determination, man. Um, you got to be first of all determined to go through some of everything to try to be successful because success doesn't come overnight. Definitely doesn't come overnight, man. But you gotta be willing, determined to keep going because you're gonna fail. You're gonna fall on your face. I fell on my face a couple of times myself, and it didn't turn out the way I thought it would. And I had to pick up the pieces and rebuild from there, man. And I'm still learning every day, man. I don't know everything, I surround myself with great people. Like Waylon, this is my brother. This is one of my best friends, man. I've learned so much from this guy. Um, it teaches me a whole lot, man. I don't like I said when it comes to oil and stuff like that.
They
He's
well, all
the
the
guru.
information about it. Wow.
But you just gotta basically, like I said, you gotta be determined. And you gotta be willing, and you gotta take risks. Honestly, if you don't take a risk, you won't gain anything. Everything out here in life is a risk.
Oh,
Mr. Whalen?
My answer's kind of the same. You got to be able to put your nose to the grindstone and get what you want. You got to have the motivation and the passion for it. You got to have resilience, being able to bounce back from setbacks because there will be setbacks. It's not I promise that it's not a promised thing. It's always the market's always changing.
Yes.
Planning, goal setting, continuous learning, and you got to be able to adapt. The Marine Corps motto is improvise, adapt, and overcome. You know, take what life throws at you, deal it in jail, work from that.
Okay. All right. So I heard you, James, say something about taking risks. What kind of risks have you had to take to get to where you are?
Um, some of my risk, man. Honestly, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm actually the owner of Home Depot and Walmart, and it was a very big risk in actually trying to set up companies like that because man, you don't know who all is gonna actually support the business. I spent a ton of money trying to set the companies up, let alone just buying the properties yourself. And you have to constantly keep everything stocked. Uh, you got to worry about thieves. You got to worry about your employees taking stuff from you. You got to worry about making sure your employees pay for it. Man, it's a whole bunch of risk in that. Then I took that big step and invested in it, and it actually turned out to be pretty good, pretty successful business going very well in the city right now. We're still looking to hire more people, but like I said, if I wouldn't be here where we are with it so far if I didn't take that risk.
So where does the name the family come from?
Excuse
I hear a lot about the family that you got. Like I hear a lot of that associated with your name. So I just want to know, like, is are you guys family? Is that just like does that explain how tight y'all are? What's going on with that?
This is my family. Like I said, like I mentioned before, well, it's like my best friend, man. Blood couldn't make us anything any closer. Um, it's more like we're family than not only just business partners, but like I said, at the end of the day, we're family. Like there's nothing I wouldn't do for my family. I go to the end of the earth for my family, and I'm quite sure you probably would as well. Um, there's a difference in between just having an associate and a friend and family. Um, any man that I know, any real true man that I know will go to the end of the earth for their true family.
Have you ever? You said you do like financial kind of like do you give financial advice? What do you like?
Yes.
So have you ever given someone advice and it end up basically like backfire, like wrong advice?
Being honest, yes. But most of the time, if I have a feeling that it's not gonna be something good, I'm gonna definitely the type of person that I am. I'm gonna advise that person that hey, this may not always turn out to be like this. There's a downside to everything. I'm gonna advise them of that. But after that point, once I advise you of that risk that's involved, it's definitely on them in the end to determine if they want to go through it or not. But if I definitely see that it's not even worth it, I'm gonna tell you it's not worth it, because like me, at the end of the day, I care about people. So it's about making money out here, and it's about being wealthy and staying successful, but at the same time, not at the cost of somebody else's demise. So I would never try to put somebody in predicament for them to have a definite downfall.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
You got that right. You damn sure can't make them drink it. But you know, okay. So where were you raised at, Mr. James?
And you wouldn't believe it, man. I was raised in the hood, man.
And how was it being raised in the hood? How did that affect you?
Man, that's what gave me my drive, honestly, man. I can honestly say being raised in the hood made me want to make something out of myself, man. It made me like seeing other people have so much and growing up with so little, it made me, it gave me that drive to want to be successful. It made me sit in my room days and days while I'm staring at the wall thinking of stuff that I want to do when I grow up. I dreamed of stuff like this. Dreamed of being in the position that I am today. And I think if I would have just been handed stuff at a young age, I don't think I'd be in the position that I am now because I wouldn't have took life as it is. I wouldn't have had that motivation to actually try to be something, and I wouldn't have had that drive to turn nothing into something. So, um, definitely, it put me where I am now.
Have you guys ever had to leave someone behind? From where you upbringing, and you might have a homeboy who was helping chase your dream, and you had to leave him behind because he just wasn't following the blueprint for the dream. Have you guys ever had to do that?
I mean, that's part of it. Not everybody's going to be on board. Sometimes you have to accord on a lot of things that you don't want to. That's part of taking the risk. Not everybody sees the
Give
same
me one
vision as
second,
you.
y'all.
Okay. So, Mr. Whalen, since you are like the kind of discoverer with the oil thing, um, with the prices going up and down, you know, how the supply and demand thing works. So let's just say hypothetically one day oil was just sky high because there was a low supply on it. Let's just say for some reason there was a big oil spill and we can't get no gas. Oh, what would be your next move with your career?
Like I said before, you improvise, adapt, and overcome. Take whatever measure you have to and progress from there.
When you said oil is something people are always gonna need, well, what about water? Would water be something? Would that be a good investment too then? Since
Yeah, I'm currently in the process of buying the power grid on the wind farm up north here. Uh, we're going to try to look into the water department as well, and if we can tap into that, that way we have all bases covered. So like a foolproof plan, later on in the road for my kids, family, whatever it is that I have.
wait, because I'm doing something. I said wait for it, because I'm doing something. She always want to play your, you always
Turn
want
on
to
my
play your game.
sorry for that.
That's how you want to do. All right, sorry guys. We got a few more minutes on the cam, so we're gonna get ready. We get a couple more questions in, and we always do this little segment. It's called mini story time. So I'm gonna ask that you give us a mini little story time on your upbringing, Mr. James. We would like to know, me and the fans, of course, would like to know over time when like you said, you was brought up in the hood. We would like to know a time when you were just like really struggling and you just, we want to know about that. We want to know about the bottom. What's it like growing up in the hood? Cause see, I grew up in the suburbs. So give us a little insight on that.
Man, listen, growing up in the hood, man, especially where I was at in the heart of the hood, um, you learn how to duck, you learn how to run at a very young age. Shootouts every day. Um, you don't know if you can come home, water, lights, or anything on. Um, didn't have much, man. Recycled toys, clothes, stuff like that. Um, it's just, man, it's like being in a jungle with a bunch of crazies that you never know what's gonna happen. Some days are up because uh, a lot of times everybody gets together and have fun together because that's all we did. All we had was outside, you know, go fishing and stuff together, stuff like that. And but it makes you appreciate. Well, it makes me appreciate where I am now because uh, I try to give back to that same community that I came from because a lot of people in that area. I don't know if it's just that area, but it's a poverty-stricken area. So you try to give back and bring the ones that you know that are associated with you. Can't take everybody, like I said, but you can try to go back and then give back and help them, give them an opportunity to get away from it.
That was very humbling. Like I said, I ain't grew up in the hood. I grew up in the suburbs, big neighborhoods, gated communities, and I really don't know the struggle very well. So I am interested in interviewing you further. These interviews really only last about 15 minutes. So, we kind of like 1 minute past that. So, like I said, I got to wrap this interview up. But I do want to give you my business card so I can get, a little more in depth. And I want to ask you some more questions in the future if you're cool with that, Mr. James and Waylon.
Definitely, definitely.
All right.
And I just like to say that everybody knows I am running for mayor, and I would appreciate your vote. Um, do have
Oh,
a lot of stuff that
okay.
I plan to do for the city, and I think together we can all make that happen.
Well, that's actually crazy because that's what I wanted to interview you about next time. This was kind of like just an introduction. So my podcast know who I've been talking about. Those of them who don't know who I've been talking about for the past 3 weeks. This is Mr. James, in person. And this is like our first. This is kind of like our second podcast. You're like our second interviewer. So yeah, man, it was a pleasure to meet you. I just want to say both of you guys, and I do look forward to scheduling a future interview to learn more about this campaign, and ask a few questions. See where your mind really at on this whole thing.
Definitely, definitely. We'd love to.
All right, well, you guys, y'all seen it first on KHTV. We out. All right, guys.